A few months ago, I shared a setup on how to build up the damage of your 4th ability fast. It was a combo using our Catitron's slam capacitor. The idea is, you sleep enemies with rest, and then hit every enemy with a finisher kill until you get that 10 times slam capacitor buff. After that, release that stored damage into a group of enemies to kill them, and receives a huge build up for your ultimate ability. It's a rinse and repeat process of nuking enemies over and over again. It was a very fun setup, but honestly, after the Helminth system, that setup of mine became very obsolete. Now I know all of you have heard about the Marked for Death Helminth ability. It's all over the internet and you have seen how powerful it is for Excalibur and Ash. Well, Equinox is another addition to that Marked for Death meta. Excalibur and Ash do insane damage because they have augments that increase the finisher damage of Radial Blind and Teleport respectively. Equinox may not have that kind of feature, but when you nuke a crowd of enemies with Marked for Death, you'll build up your ultimate very fast. In fact, you can even reach a quick million stored damage on your 4th ready to be released when you decided to switch into day mode and press 4. It's the same setup as the Architriton hammer, but Marked for Death Equinox is like the overpowered version of this setup. This is the epitome of a nuke, and nuke again setup for Equinox. Okay, let's discuss the build and setup. For the Equinox mod setup, all you need is lots of range and max efficiency. Range is a priority here since you want both Marked for Death and main to have a large radius, so you can nuke a room full of enemies. Also, max efficiency is crucial for this build, not only because we want to lower the energy cost per cast of this frame's abilities, but we also would want to lower the energy drain per second of MAME. Do remember that we need to keep our 4th active every time so we can build up the damage of MAME while we are killing enemies using finisher kills with Marked for Death. Also, energy transfer is a must so we can keep the damage build-up we accumulate during night form when we switch to our day form. Do not worry about duration, since primed continuity is enough for this setup. 78% duration will keep enemies asleep for 17 seconds, which is long enough to perform the sleep and Marked for Death combo. Also, take note that both efficiency and duration do help out lower the energy drain of your 4th ability. With these efficiency mods, plus primed continuity, you can achieve the optimal 0.9 energy drain per second for this build. Also, be sure to counter the effect of overextended by simply adding transient fortitude and power drift. We don't exactly need a lot of power strength on our build since we can deal tons of finisher damage just by modding our melee weapon properly. Lastly, don't forget Arcane Trickery, as this is crucial for this build's survivability. If you can recall on my Excalibur nuke video, Arcane Trickery does trigger every time you nuke a crowd of enemies with your Marked for Death. This does the same to Equinox, and you can possibly use its invisibility feature to infinity and beyond. For the melee weapon, I personally love using the Skijati with this build. It's just a personal preference, but what I like about this Nikana is its feature to turn me invisible after every finisher. You can choose to equip any melee weapon, like a hammer or even a dagger, but I prefer to give this build more survivability with Skijati. The damage coming from both MAME and Marked for Death are already good enough that I don't need to min-max my melee build anymore. This build is very entertaining, especially in long survival endurance runs. Storing damage for your MAME ability while nuking enemies with Marked for Death is so much fun. It's not just fun, but very effective in real missions. So far, I can say that this is the best build for Equinox in terms of endgame long survival runs. Now go nuke them all while it lasts. Thank you so much for watching. Squad Leader signing off.
This is the future. Human error. Evolution. This is the future.